Hello everybody, welcome back. Please like, share, subscribe and comment. Today I want to talk about a news media piece that I seen earlier stating that the amount of attempt murder cases in Scotland, a quarter of them involve children. Now, by the legal definition of children, I'm assuming the government mean people under the age of 18. Now, I've never studied like the 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 stats on attempt murders or violent charges in relation to young people and all that. Because one of the things is with that is I don't really put a lot of faith in statistics. I believe that there's a lot of violence that goes unreported or it's underreported. So I believe that I can't. Well, this is just me. This is a personal thing. I don't really put a lot of faith in statistics, right? But let's just say that this surge is a new phenomenon, which it's not right. How's it coming now? What could be the possible reason for that? I think it's clear that the so-called the scheme life, the gang shit, all that, knife crime, jumping about with your pals, running battles, underage drinking, all that stuff, right? That culture, excuse me, we want to think it left. It didn't leave, right? Because I hear that people always go, oh, that gang shit's starting back up again. I go, what do you mean it's starting back up? It was always there. It's just changed its face. The monster has just changed its mask. Um, so like, no, when I was a wee guy, nobody really jumped about on scooters and bikes, and you maybe had a couple of pals that had a bike or whatever, but there wasn't you weren't doing a drive by on a fucking bike. You were just sneaking. This, I'm speaking for personal experience. We were just sneaking in a scheme, seeing who we could find, who we could catch. And when I say that, I don't mean random people. I mean opposition, enemies, the opposite side, whatever you want to call them. And there was always a lot of underage drinking involved, um, which is just like petrol on a fire in it. And there was always severe violence, right? And as I've stated numerous times on here, like the first time I ever got stabbed, I was my son's age, 14. Uh, I got stabbed with a serrated kitchen knife through the left forearm. Had to get like an operation, microsurgery. Uh, Nearly lost three fingers. I had three of my tendons severed before. Stabbed through the lip, all that shit, right? So this isn't a new phenomena, right? And the media will have you think that, oh, we're tackling knife crime, like the violence reduction unit has been kicking about for what, 20 years now. So tell me something, how is this still happening? Because if I could put money on it, I would bet you that see these attempt murder cases of children, it's children on children. It's territorialism and all that other shit that myself was involved in as a teenager and a young guy. Um, and it's, as I say, it's just changing its face. It's the same shit, no shovel. So I don't know if one of the reasons could be that recently, was it last year, um, the government brought out legislation you couldn't go to the young offenders until you were at least 18. I went to young offenders at what, 16? Well, I went to prison at 15, but I went to Long Regend for a week. So Long Regend, for them that doesn't know it's new or whatever, Long Regend was just basically Pullman but remands. It was a remand young offenders prison. It was administrated by the Scottish Prison Service, so it was a prison. It wasn't a home. It wasn't a fucking secure unit. It was a prison. Um, so I went there for a week, then to Kerlow until I turned 16, then off to Pullman I go. So kinda spent a long time in Pullman. Went to the state hospital at 18. So now in this country, you can't even send somebody to prison until they are 18. So what's the deterrent, right? What is the deterrent for anybody under the age of 18 carrying a weapon on the streets and knowing if they get caught, worst case scenario, they're going to a secure unit or a home, right? And I get this, we need to rehabilitate them and all that. Some people can only learn the hard way, myself being one of them. I'm just lucky that I'm sitting here and I was going to say saw the light. Don't mean it like that. I just mean I'm managing my personality. I want to stay out of prison. I want to raise my child to make sure that he does not go through or follow in my footsteps, right? Because I get why we guys at 14, 13 think all this shit's glamorous. Because see, when I was a wee guy, like, now they're on to fucking drill rap and all that shit, like all that roadman shit. But when we were wee guys, it was all like gangster shit and all that as well. It's just, it's what I say, it changes its face. You're still looking at, you're still get the same negative role models, toxic role models. All my role models were all similar people, committing serious crimes, making money through crime. And if you live in a home where your mum and dad are addicts or alcoholics or all of the above, no showing you any nurturing, no showing you any positivity, any care, then where are you going to find that? Going to find it out in the scheme, ain't you? In the dark nights, like myself. But the only thing with that is, when you go to prison, that is when the dark nights will hit you. And only the toughest will come out of that, for better or for worse. And a lot of people that I know went to prison, came out addicts, came out fucked up. It's no a life. And you might go, it's easy for you to say, no, aye, well, it wasn't at one point because I was you. My dad died when I was 14 and I thought, I have the right to hurt anybody I want to, as long as they do something to trigger me. That was my beliefs, because I felt I had so much pain, anger and rage inside me, that I was sick of being looked down on and walked over and no loved or that shit, right? And would just take it out and wee Joe for the next schemer who thought it was a wee ticket, whatever. Do you know what I mean? I know what you're going through. Went through it myself, know what I mean? But the thing is, do you want to pay that price? Back then, if you'd asked me, I would have said, aye, that's how stupid I was. I thought I was building this big fucking reputation up, but see, the thing is, it's what somebody in Shorts prison said to me. Well, he didn't say it at me. He said it in a class we were in. He said, we were all in the violence prevention programme in the old Shorts unit. And he said, you spend half your life trying to get a name and the rest of your life trying to get rid of it. And that hurt me, man. That really hurt me, because I think he's right. I don't know if this no under 18s and young offenders legislation is helping the situation or making it worse. But let me just pull up the news, the STV report that was aired earlier, right? So Big John Witsy's cooking. Hold on, right?
The number of children accused of attempted murder has increased by a fifth. A report from the Scottish Police Authority revealed there were 17 cases involving 20 children between April and June this year. There were just 5 in the same period last year. The authority says more resources are needed to tackle the issue. The Scottish Government says they have invested in violence protection framework and are providing a support at national level.
Right, so we're getting more fucking funding and violence prevention framework. What was up with the old framework? How's that no working anymore? If there is such a thing, I don't know. I'm no been away for this shit for a long time. I prefer to, rather than go and study it academically, like studying shit in prison, I prefer to just be myself and talk about it on here. You know what I mean? And as what I say, I'm only as good as the information in front of me. So if there's a new violence prevention framework, what was wrong with the old one? How did the old one fail? What's going to be different this time round? Because there's wee guys dying out in the streets, and it's wee guys, it's their own peers, hands at their own peers. You know what I mean? And do you know one of the things that I blame a lot today with social media? I don't know how many times, thankfully not that many, but once is more than enough wee guys anonymously mailing my son, threatening to stab him and chop him. So having that direct access to somebody is definitely an issue. Right, you can press a block button or what restrict, I don't know, right? But when I was a wee guy, you couldn't do that. You had to bump into each other outside. You couldn't just go and mail them and sit there sending photos and make mad fucking hand gestures and all that shit, man. So social media definitely is a part to play in it, but how do you police somebody's fucking social media? I can only make sure that my son isn't all social media stoning with choppers and ski masks and fucking making mad horn signs and all that shit. Believe you me, if my son gets involved in that, there will be repercussions after me, because I'm a hands-on dad and I make sure my son's basically not being a wee knob, you know what I mean? And that comes back to the lack of positive male role models. Like, I am basically a good role model for my son, but at the same time, it's a double-edged sword, because you look at it like, my son looks at me and knows how to be a dad, but knows how not to be going through life in a lot of ways. You get what I'm talking about? Like running about, thinking you're this and that, selling this and that, getting involved in this and that. It isn't life, and I get why some people just feel that hopeless. There's no answer other than my bros, the scheme, the team, all that shit. I totally get it. But if I could offer you any advice, don't need to take it, but it's free. As my pal likes to tell me, find something you're good at. There's got to be somebody in your life you love that much you don't want to lose. Somebody in your life you don't want to get ripped away from. For me, it's my son. If I never had my son, I don't know what I would be doing, and I mean that. To be honest, I think I would have got out right. If I never had my son, I think I would have got out. And after a while, I would have just got in about something. Because the thing is, we go into a lot of these jails, especially long-term jails, you meet a lot of people with a lot of contacts and a lot of know-how, and I think that would have been inevitable. But having a child, you have to put that child first. And that's just being a dad, you know what I mean? Before I go, right, I want to just pull up the legislation. No under 18s and young offenders, right? 2nd of September last year, I thought it was June, right? Supporting children in the justice system. All under 18s who were previously detained in YOI Parliament have now been moved into secure care settings. Now remember, I think that this was in response to, I think Parliament had a few suicides. One of them was a young lassie. I think she'd got arrested for something, but pure shouldn't have been in there anyway, right? Get that? right? But I don't really get what is this going to serve. I think they need to differentiate between who needs to go to a place like this and who doesn't, rather than blanket everybody under the age of 18 can't go. You get what I'm saying? Uh, Believe me when I tell you, when I was 16, I had to go here somewhere like that. As much as I hate saying it, that's just the way it is. Uh, but times have changed. Nah, they don't. They haven't really, have they? Because it's all still happening. More people getting stabbed. They're getting younger. Just same shit, same story. The government want us to think that, oh, we're doing this to tackle this, and put your money where your mouth is. But anyway, that's my rant for today. Thank you for watching, everybody. Be safe out there, and I will see you all next time I'm back home. Good night.